Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by One Equine, and we're up to night 3 of ID23. On Saturday night, all heats are over the longer journey, the grand final distance of 2,680 metres. So there's a lot at play here on Saturday night because many of these horses are trying to force their way into the big grand finals the following week. So let's have a look now at the leaderboards for Saturday night as it stands currently. So it's going to be very interesting to see how many of these horses shape up on Saturday night. Leap to Fame leads the way. He's unbeaten. He's the only unbeaten pacer at this point. Narano, Better Eclipse, Swayze, Future Assured, Classy Washington, Turn It Up, Speak the Truth, Manila Playboy, Pete Said So, Spirit of St. Louis, Our Money Rock. So that's the cut-off at this stage, but right behind them, Canina Prov Lima, Deus Ex, Hot and Treacherous, and then Tommy Lincoln. So there's a fair bit at play, like I said, in particular with Heat 1 on Saturday night, because there's at least 6 horses going around in that first heat that could easily force their way into the finals field. That's the pacers. Let's have a look at the trotters now. And the unbeaten horse at the top of the leaderboard there is the reigning champ. That's Just Believe, along with Olivici, who's been terrific so far. Plymouth Chubb, Queen Elida, Mufasa Metro, Sir Fahrenheit, Gus, Funny Face, Majestic Lavros, the Best Bourbon Van Sank, Powder Keg. That's the cut-off at this stage. Just behind them, we've got Adele, Bullion Harry, who's now out, and Constantinople. So there's a few down the bottom there that are probably just teetering on the edge. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these heats shake out on Saturday night. The boys are back with me. Darren, Clayton, Ryan, Spice. Darren, any major surprise going into night 3?
No, I think we're round about there. Obviously, Rock and Roll Do is the big one that's now pretty much out of contention. The trotters, it's worked out as it probably could. I thought Adele might have done a little bit better. Gate Break on Tuesday night did her chances a lot of harm, and she really needs to step up on Saturday now. All
right, Ryan, what's your take so far as we come into night 3? Horses looking to cement their spots. Any major shocks from your angle?
No major shocks. I think the elevation of Narano this series is to a major player is probably my key takeaway so far.
All right. Well, we'll preview Heat 1 in just a moment. So we'll take a quick break, come back and preview the first heat. Time now to look at round 3, Heat 8, and this is a fascinating heat. We've got an early scratching of Cosimo, so it's going to be very interesting because there's a lot of horses in this opening heat on Saturday night that are trying to force their way in. At least half the field are a chance of qualifying for the big grand final the following week. Darren, I find this heat the most intriguing of the 3 pacing heats on Saturday night because there's so many that are trying to force their way into the final field. How did you see it?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, and especially with Turn It Up on that front line again. At the moment, he's in the cut-off, so he's going to make it. We know how quick he is off the gate. That sort of throws it up a little bit early, especially with Narano in gate 1. But, you know, Spirit of St. Louis out in gate 7 and driver change. Luke McCarthy comes on. He hasn't driven the horse for quite some time. The last time he drove it was here at Albion Park. He won in one of our Winter Carnival races last year. So he does know the horse really well, but most recently Jack Galligan's been the main driver, but he comes back on gate 7, no luxury out there either. What do they do from there? Hot and Treacherous, he's another one that has to really step up if they're going to get in. He's on the cut-off at the moment, so Chris Alford comes on with Nathan Dawson being away in New Zealand. So, you know, he gets a top driver on, but hasn't driven the horse before in gate 12. There's so many little factors in this race that make it so intriguing.
Okay, is it clear-cut, Ryan, that Turn It Up just races across, heads off Narano, and then releases Speak the Truth? It looks clear-cut, but it's Inter Dominion and it's Heat 3, so there's a lot of things that could change here because drivers are trying to force their way in for next week's grand final. So how do you see it?
I think it's clear cut that Turn It Up gets over. The Gazelle, he just will turn left, as they say. Narano's quick, right? But Turn It Up's next level, and kind of doesn't really make sense for Narano to put chips in to try and hold him anyway, in my opinion. He's safely into the final. He's going to get a beautiful peg strip regardless. The interesting question is, what do they do on Louis? Do they go chips in to try to get over? Or does Luke sort of drive for cover and come with one run? I think if they go forward and they don't find the position that they need, could be trouble.
Okay. The other fascinating thing with many of these horses, a lot of them are untested at 26.80, including Speak the Truth. Now, I don't think there's any issue with him running over a staying trip. The longer the better, it seems. He was really strong on Tuesday night.
Yeah, he's a great leader, isn't he?
Yeah.
I wanted to see him do it this series, and Tuesday, for me, stamped him that he's here and he's ready to play, and I just think he'll thrive now, and I think he maps as the leader and the hardest to beat.
Okay. Do you map Speak the Truth getting the lead from Turn It Up?
Yeah, I think that's the way it plays out. I think Narano, we've seen even over the mile races, horses that are 3 fence are still getting their opportunity. So at 2600, the pressure's on. They're already qualified for the final. There's no concerns there. I think they'd be quite happy to, Turn It Up will get across, and then from there sit 3 fence. I think that allows Speak the Truth just time to balance up and then press forward. From there, where they sort of fill their positions, I think Hot and Treacherous probably has to make an early move, perhaps, to get in. Does Black Sedan, Spirit of St. Louis sort of go ahead of him? That's the way I sort of thought, and they all sort of filter around, and Future Assured and Our Money Rocks then taking the long road home. But definitely, I think, for mine, Speak the Truth finds the front, and he gets his opportunity again and step up like he did in round 2.
Okay, he was very impressive on night 2, no question about that. Speak the Truth. Ryan, who are you tipping to take out this opening heat on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm jumping on the Speak the Truth bandwagon here. I think he's the one that ends up in front regardless. He's unbeaten in front. I think it can be a local victory once again.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Speak the Truth as well, despite the fact that he is unproven at 2600. But I've got him on top. Narano, I've got great respect for him for the reasons you guys outlined. He's been enormous, and his closing sectional on Tuesday night, I should say, was unbelievably good. Turn It Up and Black Sedans could be the improver, given that that race just wasn't run to suit on Tuesday night, and the long distance may suit him. So 3159. Darren, which way are you going?
Yeah, pretty similar. Speak the Truth on top. I was with him on Tuesday. Great result. We'll stick with him again from the front. Narano will get that perfect trip, and Our Money Rocks for third. He was super again on Tuesday. Just needs to straighten his hanging issue a little bit, and he's going to be right there. Hot and Treacherous, I think, can be a big improver this round.
All right, Ron, you're going 3-1-10-5. So we're leaving out Spirit of St. Louis because of the draw?
Yeah, he's the hard one to place, isn't he? If he finds the right spot after 200 metres, well, then he's a major player. But outside front row, we all know it's so hard.
Okay. So the first heat on Saturday night, race number 1. We start with a heat straight away, so we're straight into the action, and start time for that race is at 6:15. Time now to focus on round 3, heat 9, and this is a fascinating heat in many ways. It features the New Zealand Cup champ Swayze, and he comes up with the ideal draw. Gate 1, on paper that is. Has he got the speed to lead here? Well, we're about to dissect that and see where it all sort of plays out. Darren, as I come to you, Swayze, gate 1, and most were thinking, well, this is a foregone conclusion. But has he got the speed to lead, in your opinion, from this inside draw?
Yeah, it's really tricky, isn't it? Because there's not a great deal of real push-button speed to his outside. So does that give him enough time to just muster through? And if he can hold the wheel, well, then that's enough. The speed drawn wider, certainly with Deus Ex. So, the opportunity there, Luke McCarthy taking the drive there with Nathan Dawson out to really zoom across and get in front of Swayze early. But, does that then create an opportunity? Swayze pops straight off. It's really interesting. Tommy Lincoln is a really good beginner, but I know they've got serious concerns about the trip with him. They've also got serious concerns about, how he come through that second run. First run was really good. He got that peg trip. They don't want to get caught in the running line. So there's a bit happening there in the early stages. Does he kick through? Doesn't he? I think if they really wanted to, they could drive hard enough that they could. That's the question. Do they want to?
Yeah. Let's have a look at Swayze from Tuesday night. He was beaten, so the winning run came to an end on Tuesday night at the hands of Speak the Truth. So certainly losing no admirers. This was the fastest heat on Tuesday night. They went super fast time, near track record. Swayze certainly doing, his best work, and it seemed like he was getting a little stronger as this race got deeper. So this is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out here. So 2680, he's 2 for 2 at Albion Park at the 2680. Well, certainly 1 for 1 as far as the Grand Circuit is concerned. So Ryan, How do you see this race with Swayze drawn gate 1? Do you think he will have enough speed to lead? Do you think there's a retake move on the offering here? So how does it play out?
Yeah, option B for me. Yep. I think Tommy Lincoln and or Deus Ex both can get over, but I don't see any issues with Swayze being able to force off the inside and get into clear running and then saunter to the top.
All right, so that being said, they're all playing for second prize then if he gets an easy lead.
They are.
Okay. Your thoughts here, Darren. What are you going to come up with as far as the speed map is concerned? If we have a look at this, with a lap left to run, you've got Swayze on top?
Well, I think for mine, I think if he gets blocked a little bit in, Greg Sugars gets the opportunity to strike first, get around first, get to the front, especially if he can push through on the back in the early stages. You know, I think one of those two gets to the front first. I'm going with Better Eclipse off the fact that I think if Swayze just gets a little bit trapped early, Greg Sugars has got the opportunity to get ahead of him and strike first. And I think if he does that, that's how it plays out. If Swayze gets the opportunity to pop straight off, well then obviously he's in front. So I thought it was one of those two gets there. I just thought that maybe Swayze just gets trapped a little bit too long, that the Candyman can strike.
Okay, this will be a real race if this speed map plays out here, Ryan. These are two sexy drivers, Cam Hard, Greg Sugars, so this will be a battle of wits here. So do you subscribe to that theory that Better Eclipse has a chance of landing in front of Swayze?
Look, if this was the grand final, I would, give it some credence, thinking that Greg Sugars could pull out an absolute peach. But it's a heat, already safely into the final with Better Eclipse. If he was mine, I'd just sit him back, come with one run into the placings, and you're in perfect shape for the grand final. So for me, it's Swayze forcing off early, rolling to the top, and then maybe they'll run a half, and the best two horses, I think, will definitely run the Quinella.
Okay. Do you see it the same way? These two horses are going to fight out the finish?
Yeah, I think with all respect to those other horses in the race, I think they've got a clear edge on all of the others. So Classy Washington, he's progressed really well through the series, got no favours out there in gate 7. Some of those others, Deus Ex, he gets an opportunity, 2600, not sure how he'll handle that. Tim's a trooper. I thought he was a really good chance on Tuesday, somehow ended up at the rear from gate 2. He gets a peg trip here. That might be all the difference for him to run into some money. Outside of that, I can't see anything else happening.
Okay, do you think Canina Problema goes straight to the pegs or stays one off? Or is it dependent on how it plays out in that first 150?
Looking at his normal racing pattern, they love diving pegs on him. So I think Robbie probably will, and then he'll look to pick him apart through the field come late. Two horses that I think are really great top 4 hopes are Deus Ex and Classy Washington. They've both had excellent series, those two horses. Deus Ex I think he can get over, and if he finds the fence, he's definitely a really good place chance. And Classy Washington, you just have to admire how well that horse has gone this series.
Yeah, well, the 3 horses in this heat that are really challenging for that, grand final berth. Deus Ex, Classy Washington's there, but he can't afford to finish too far back. And Canina Problema, he can force his way into the grand final. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those horses perform.
Yeah, certainly. I think Canina Problema is a really good hope of pushing through with that cheap trip on the fence, and he's really good late, and like Ryan said, he can just pick off and try and find a way through. So under that scenario, especially if Swayze gets straight off as well, well then there's one less he's picking through on. So yeah, I give him a really good hope of progressing to the final as well.
All right, so if you've got Better Eclipse in front, who are you tipping? Are you tipping Better Eclipse, or are you tipping Swayze to overpower them?
Yeah, I'm going a little bit different. I think Better Eclipse, working off my map, I think he can get it done. And I've been really taken with his 2 runs to date. His first round heat win, his second round he went to the breeze. Like I've sort of mentioned, if he gets in front, it all comes down to that if. So, with that, I'm happy to have him on top of Swayze, but they are the clear 1-2.
Okay, so coming up with a bit of value there, Darren, he's going 10-1-8-7. I'm going 1-10-8-9. Ryan, you're going?
Swayze over Better Eclipse, giving Deus Ex with Luke McCarthy some love. I certainly think his 2100 metre heat was super. He's burnt the arm, got pushed back and still hit the line, so I think he can capitalise off his front row draw, and any luck for Classy Washington, he'll be storming home again.
Okay, well that's race number 3. It comes through at 7:14 on Saturday night. It's a fascinating heat featuring Swayze and Better Eclipse. Round 3, Heat 10, and this is the final pacing heat, and it features the unbeaten Leap to Fame, who's swept both heats so far. Will that continue on Saturday night? It's right in his wheelhouse as far as the distance is concerned, 2680, but he is drawn gate 7, and I suppose in many ways coming off a narrow victory there on Tuesday night, which surprised quite a few how close both Spirit of St. Louis and Our Money Rocks got to him, and we'll have a look at that replay in just a moment. I'll ask you the question, Darren, straight up. Were you surprised those horses got as close as what they did to Leap to Fame, or should I sort of reframe that question and say, were you surprised the winning margin wasn't bigger than what it was?
The winning margin was certainly, I don't think cause for concern, but it was certainly sort of eyebrow raising, that's for sure. I think Grant always knew what he had there, and I think as much as it was only a narrow margin, I think he knew he had it in the bag. I think the only chance that something awry would have gone was that Spirit of St. Louis had it picked up harder and really darted through, but he didn't. They were going that quick. Our Money Rocks in between them got a bit hangy near the line. Perhaps that just made the margin look a little bit closer than it could have been. Not really sure there, but I think he had it under control. I think he did what he had to, and for that reason, it didn't need to extend him. He was just happy to get him to the line and not have Our Money Rocks out onto him as well.
All right, well, let's have a look at the replay of Leap to Fame winning on Tuesday. So he was a first night winner. He was dominant Friday night. Fastest time of the 4 heats. Here on Tuesday night, that's him outside the leader, Our Money Rocks, and that's Spirit of St. Louis in the trail. So as we go into the home straight here, he's got to fight for it. And the interesting comment that was made to Brittany Graham immediately after this race, Ryan, was the fact that, you know, we've got to get him home, get him sorted out, because this was probably harder than expected. So that was an interesting comment that he made to Brittany Graham there immediately after that race on Tuesday night. So what was your takeaway?
I'm thinking Grant might have been feeling that the respect would have been there and he would have been waved on by at some point. But in saying that, he didn't really get up to the breeze until the bell, that sort of the constant 3-wide chain was there. I just think it was the way the race unfolded and a little bit of victim of circumstances. I was really impressed. I know the margin was small, but they've flown home. Last mile was 51 flat. They got him in 26 flat. I know the margin was small, but he's still a great horse.
All right, so there's a very good chance that he could clean sweep this whole series. If he wins tomorrow night, Saturday night, and then comes out and wins the final, that's a heck of a series.
Yeah, the final's still going to be very much barrier draw dependent, isn't it? And like that heat just shows, if you're not in the prime A1 position, how much extra work you have to do.
All right, now I'm fascinated with your speed map here, because there's a lot of scenarios that could unfold here. He's drawn out in gate 7. I think eventually most are thinking he's going to get waved on by and, you know, will find the top. So that being said, those drawn to his inside, and there's a number of horses here that are, you know, in contention of, you know, cementing their spot for the grand final. So it's going to be very tactical early. Pete said so draws gate 1. Has he got the speed to sort of hold up and then release Leap to Fame, or does a horse like Mr. McLaren get him at the start?
Mr. McLaren is really strong off the arm, and you could certainly entertain Pete McMullen just lighting him up and getting across. I don't know what that would actually serve, you know, to maximise their points. I don't think that would do them any favours. I think, you know, this is opportunity. Better Zippert's really struggling in terms of he probably can't make the final now, but he's got to, you know, stand up here. Only 2 scenarios I've got in mind are Better Zippert crossing Pete Said So first, or Pete Said So holding up enough that Leap to Fame comes forward. Just depends how quickly Leap to Fame comes across and whether he just balances up and sort of is not getting there until the you know, the winning post with 2 laps to go. So I think he eventually gets. I thought Better Zipper could certainly have a look early to get that prime position. So you're either looking at 7-3-1 or 7-1-8 as those first three positions on the fence. Where they get after that, I'm not really sure. To be fair, some of those going around in this heat are really struggling. It really does look the weakest of the three heats in terms of who's getting through to the final. Can't find a better man. He's the big query. He needs to maximise his points here if they want to get into the final. Gate 11 has made that really tough for them. Do they go forward and sit parked? Well, do they nearly have to get themselves into the race, otherwise they're not sort of in it. Luke McCarthy went forward in the first round at the mile and has subsequently said, he probably drove him a little bit, more to his detriment than he would have liked. So, but I think he's got to put him in the race here. Manila Playboy, Captain Shuffles, they're probably running on late.
All right, Ryan, two horses that I wanted to ask you about for this heat, away from the favourite, Leap to Fame. Can't Find a Better Man. Can he do something here to force his way, like just squeeze himself into the final? He's got to either win or run second. And he does boast a victory over Leap to Fame, so we can't lose sight of that fact. And the other one is Rock and Roll Do. What mindset do you think Mick Stanley will approach this heat? Because he's no chance of qualifying for the final, so how does he drive him here, in particular from a, potentially sticky gate here, gate 5?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, Chris. I don't think there'll be any favours given in run to either Better Zip It or Rock and Roll Do. I can't see them being waved on by personally. I think Pete said so. If he can muster up and hold early, he's only letting one horse go. I do subscribe to the theory that Mr. McLaren is lightning off the arm. He nearly kept his feet under Turn It Up night 1. But whether they want to use him over the long trip out of the gate is probably the question that I don't know the answer to. So I just think Leap to Fame does get on the premises at some point and does roll to the top. If Rock and Roll Do's in the breeze and Leap to Fame comes calling, is he going to kick up and turn it on? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. You got any thoughts on Rock and Roll Do? Like, you've got him back in the field there, but like he's a big mystery in many ways because he's been the failure of the series, without being too unkind. So what do they do here from gate 5, 2600? He's a very good stayer, we know that. So do they try and flex here if they can, or are they just going around for the sake of it?
Well, they've got that opportunity too. I guess the other thing is, do they want to get in the consolation? Well, they need vital points to do that as well, with where they've ended up. He can run the arm if need be. Like you say, is this the time to, roll the sleeves? And yes, our campaign's sort of been a bit cactus up till now. Let's have a crack.
Well, let's see how we're going to tip this race. We're all tipping Leap to Fame, but it's a vital race for the exotic. So I've got Can't Find a Better Man in for second. I thought he was terrific there, night 2. Pete said so. And I'm going to put in Rock and Roll Do because he's a fascinating horse in so many ways. So 7, 11, 1, 5 for me. Darren, you're going?
Yeah, Leap to Fame, Can't Find a Better Man, so 7, 11, 1 as well, Pete said. So I'm throwing in number 12, Captain Shuffles. He held on for third in the first round. Second round, absolutely luckless. If you look, he had the best closing splits out of his heat, and what a great story, Nicky Chalk taking the drive in this heat.
Okay, your head is on a swivel there, Ryan. So you're questioning both Rock and Roll Do and Captain Shuffles. So you're going to put in...
I'm going to add Manila Playboy as my 4th selection there. But yeah, clearly Leap to Fame on top. Pete said so, Can't Find a Better Man. I think you could easily interchange those. And Manila Playboy is absolutely flying.
Yeah.
He's been one of the finds of the series. I didn't know coming into this event whether it would suit him, but he looks like he's thriving. Wouldn't be shocked if you see him steaming home again.
Okay, well that's the final heat, so we'll know shortly after that heat who's in and who's out of the grand final for next week. Start time for that race at 7:48. Round 3, Heat 6 for the Trotters, and this is a good heat coming up on Saturday night because there's several key players lining up here and they're all drawn side by side. Sir Fahrenheit, Queen Elida, Mufasa Metro, Plymouth Chubb. This is going to be a good race, Darren Clayton. We step up in distance. We're at the 2680, so this will sort the men and the girls out from the boys and the girls, if you can make sense of what I just said there. So, how do you see it here with Queen Elida? She's been beaten in both heats so far, so she's been costly, but she's going to start the favourite here, coming up with gate 2. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really intriguing that we get those 4 in the same heat, all drawn 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes it really interesting. Look, I've been with her in each of the first 2 rounds. I've got to stick with her. I've got to stick fat. That's not with Plymouth either. I think, you know, where she is in the run, I think she eventually finds the front. Mufasa Metro, he gets across. Does that mean Plymouth Chubb has to do some work at some point? It's all very interesting there. The winner comes probably from one of those 3, I think. Queen Elida, Mufasa Metro, Plymouth Chubb. Sir Fahrenheit, he's going to get the perfect trip. He's going to be in behind. I think of the others, they're probably running on to hopefully try to get some place money. I don't think any of them are actually any threat of causing a boil over. I don't think we'll see that in this heat. So, you know, she's been okay. Queen Elida, first round, was she a little bit flat? She wasn't that. I didn't give her, you know, I didn't write her off. Second round, it was a tough trip. Gus really served it up to her, and Chris Albert eventually had to release Gus to the front. So, you know, how much did that take out of her? Did it take anything out of her? He was just, you know, punching around. I don't know. Mufasa Metro, he's just been consistent. He just keeps punching away. He's just probably that 1 length behind them, but he's only staying 1 length behind them. He hasn't gone backwards this series. So, as for Chubby, well, he was super night 1. Night 2, again, he was in for the fight, and Just Believe just too classy for him in the end, but he's right in this as well.
All right, well, let's have a look at that replay of Plymouth Chubb from Tuesday night. He goes under at the hands of the reigning champion, Just Believe, but he was far from disappointing. It was a blistering last half, like the sectionals that these 2 up front were able to carve out. Most pacers would dream of running that, so they took it right to the line. Just Believe, he came out on top. All honours certainly go with him. Just too big, too strong there, but Plymouth Chubb losing no admirers. So he's going to be a fascinating horse in this heat, given that he's drawn towards the outside of the big players here. He's got gate 4. Cam Hart is sticking with him at this point. There's talk that Kieran Manning will be back to drive Plymouth Chubb in the final next week, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm keen to get your thoughts, though, on Queen Elida. You just totally dropped off her following night 1. What did you make of night 2?
Yeah, I thought I was right but wrong. She was pretty good. I think it's a bit sticky here. I don't think she's going to want to get into an early speed duel or battle. Sir Fahrenheit certainly is quick enough to hold her, and I'm quite sure John Justice on Mufasa Metro will be making a beeline for the top. I could actually see them getting into single file here for a certain period of time for the race before the 2 wide line starts. Yeah, I don't think too many people are going to want to be leading the breeze here.
Okay, so that being said, you sort of referenced on Tuesday or prior to Tuesday's heat that you wouldn't mind seeing her driven, you know, in her best position, which is off cover. Do they get this opportunity then here tomorrow night?
I think they'll probably get the opportunity for maybe the first 1,000 metres, but the way I see the race, perhaps she'll need to sort of break cover so that she's not pocketed.
Okay, so it could be a sprint home here. How do you map it? Is there a possibility that we could see single file formation like Ryan hinted at there? How did you map it with a lap left to run?
Yeah, there's certainly every opportunity that they could end up in single file. I think eventually, after Mufasa Metro gets across, I think Queen Elida will eventually work around and get to the front, and that would leave Plymouth Chubb sort of exposed. I think under that situation, you know, if they're single file early, you probably got Mufasa Metro, Sir Fahrenheit and Queen Elida, probably 3 fence till she comes around, if that's sort of what you're looking at. I think she probably just gets straight to the front again. Under the way I see it, I think they just work to the front and see if they can really slow it up over the long trip, and Plymouth Chubb maybe just sits back, eventually moving forward. So I think they'll get to the front pretty soon after the start and just try to control it.
All right, we go back to night 1, Ryan. Plymouth Chubb was able to run down Queen Elida. He sat 3 fence, he drew the inside of the second row and just produced that blistering turn of acceleration. Could we see him in that sort of role where, you know, he's taking it up to Queen Elida in this race on Saturday night?
I don't think so. I think he'll look to stalk at every opportunity and use his speed late, and I'll be back in Cam Hart to get the job done.
Okay, so you're going to tip Plymouth Chubb?
Yeah, there's no way I can take odds on Queen Elida. Plymouth Chubb, $3 plus, yes please.
Okay, so he's going to tip Plymouth Chubb. What are you coming up with, Darren?
No, I've got to stick with the Queen. She's been the bridesmaid the first 2 heats. I think she can regain the throne this week. I've got her on top from Plymouth Chubb, Mufasa Metro, Sir Fahrenheit. Those 4 horses, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Plymouth Chubb just off the fact that he beat Queen Elida on night 1. Lost no admirers there on night 2, running that game second behind Just Believe. So 4, 2, 3, 1. Is this a really good race for punters to play? Just because they look so obvious, those two. So as far as the exotics are concerned, there's a first 4 jackpot on this race. Can we hammer this race?
Yeah, all Inter Dominion heats have been seeded with 10k for the first 4 on Queensland TAB. Absolutely, I think try and go skinny at the top end and don't put too many in for 3rd and 4th, and fingers crossed come away with a result.
All right, well, Funny Face is on the verge of qualifying for the final, so she needs to perform well, so she's probably coming in as that 5th ranked horse in this heat, but if she runs well again, she'll certainly qualify for the final. So there's a fair bit at play there, just with a few of those on the precipice there, so we'll wait and see. But that is race number 5 coming through, and start time for that race, 8:26. Round 3, Heat 7 for the Trotters, and this heat features the reigning champion Just Believe. He's swept the series so far, winning both heats. Can he do it again? It was a clean sweep last year in Melbourne, winning all 3 heats and then taking the final, and he's on target to do it again. So let's talk about this heat. Darren Clayton, Just Believe. He was awesome on night 1, very dominant, and then he made a bit of a statement there, parking outside of Plymouth Chubb on Tuesday night, putting them away, brilliant sectional. So he's clearly the horse to beat.
Oh, without a doubt, and I think that run really stamped where he's at. He was, Greg Shaw was just never flinched at all, and he had it in hand the whole way. He was never any doubt, I don't think, even though he sat outside, just did what he had to. Yeah, certainly on target to take it all the way. Interestingly here, the 2 unbeaten horses through the trotting series clash. So we've got Olivici, Just Believe. Olivici, he sat back off the speed as Gus and Queen Elida went at each other the other night on Tuesday, and then just came with that well-timed run. And I think he's really building into this series nicely. Track record performance in that run as well, broke the track record of Tough Monarch. So, you know, I think the way he's building is really good. Gus, he was the big one from Tuesday night with that run. That was just superb. So can he do it again? Gate 7, he's probably going to have to.
He's the interesting horse in this heat. Let's have a look at the replay of Olivici scoring on Tuesday night. As Darren outlined, it was a frantic tempo set up by both Gus and Queen Elida. Olivici was able to come to the outside there and get over the top. But he had to fight for it as well, because Queen Elida and Gus, they weren't giving in, and Olivici really had to stretch out, but he got the photo and he got the verdict, so he's unbeaten. So as Chris Lang outlined on air during the week, he's probably achieved more than what they were hoping for so far, but he's at the peak of his powers right now. Ryan, what do they do with Gus here? Like, he got some open air there on Tuesday night, seemed to take charge, set up that really frantic tempo. What happens here on Saturday night? Given that it's at the longer trip, are they looking to drive him tough again, or are they looking for a helmet to follow?
Surely there's no lead tonight, so I would suggest that he has to be driven like they did on night 1, go back, find a helmet, let him settle, let him roll home the last 800.
Okay, let's have a look at your speed map here, because this will be interesting. Just Believe, have you got him in front, or do you think Gus is going to go up and apply some heavy pressure?
No, there's certainly that opportunity, but I think Just Believe, he's probably going to get the respect from there. He can, those inside him, he can work forward. I thought Gus, where he's at, probably just has to go back, like Ryan outlined, you know, sit back and come with that one run. Just Believe gets to the front. He's going to be the one that needs to be, he'll do it out in front there. Majestic Lavros, he comes out of that same Gus Queen Elida race there that Olivici won. He drew gate 1, he was just tucked in behind. He held ground to the line, and Matt Elkins, you could see him a couple of times turn around to see where the dangers were, held his ground, hit the line pretty good. So I think he's a good chance in behind. Where they filter out behind, I think Adele, she was making a gate break. She'll probably be better served this time wide off the second line, so she probably has to track into it at some point.
Okay. I think it's fairly obvious here with Just Believe. I think either scenario, whether they want to drive him 10 different ways. He's just classes above for mine. So he's on top for me, Just Believe. I'm going to, just come out and say that he's clearly the horse to beat for the final because he's been brilliant so far. Night 1 superb, and then night 2 parking outside of Plymouth Chubb, brilliant sectionals. He's getting better, and that's the scary part going into the final. So I think he can make a clean sweep of the heats just like he did in Melbourne.
Yeah, he's so foolproof. He's a total.
Reliable.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get. He's gone to a new level. He's a total moral. Put him in your multis.
Yeah. So looking at the selections, I'm going to go with 3 on top, Just Believe. I've marked the danger as Olivici for obvious reasons. He's been really good. Gus, this is going to be interesting to see how he handles this night because, on what he did on Tuesday, can he back that up? Majestic Lavros, so looks like we're pretty much all coming up with the same there. You've given Van Sank a chance there, Ryan?
Yeah, I actually think this is his opportunity to run a really bold race. I think he has the gate speed to slip over in front of Majestic Lavros. I've just noticed the last few starts, Majestic Lavros, they just want to balance him up early, keep him trotting well. So I think Van Sank can zip over and get the absolute gun run on the back of Just Believe. So I think he's a really great place bet.
Okay, and Darren, you're coming up with Just Believe?
Yeah, he's just like everything that we've said, just keep rolling through those same superlatives. There's plenty of them for him. He should be just getting it done regardless of where he is.
All right, well, that's the final Trotters heat coming through on Saturday night. 9:03 start time for that heat, and it does feature Just Believe. Time now to find a good thing or two for tomorrow night's action, night 3 of ID23. So let's find out what the boys are keen on. Darren, I'll come to you firstly. What have you marked as your best bet tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think in the mares race, race 8, Holly Stars, lone second line runner, should get the perfect trip at some point. To be fair, so it's an open mares race. Some of these are stepping up in class, and she's been really solid since she's been with Chantel and Pete. So I think race 8, number 8, Holly Stars for me.
Okay, Ryan, you've got a couple there that you've marked.
Yeah, I'm keen on the Adam Sanderson double here. I think Speak the Truth maps to be the leader in his race. Step up in trip, undefeated in front. I'm happy to be with him at the black odds. I'm certainly nervous about Narano. We know that horse is just totally airborne. But I think if he's 3 fence or worse and Speaks on the front end, I think he's the one to beat. And then in the trot heat, I'm really being satisfied with what Van Sank's brought to the table so far. I think he can zip over, get the perfect trail on Just Believe. All
right, I'm marking Pacifico Dream. Be patient, wait for the last. Race 10, number 3. Both of his runs so far in this state have been super, and he's a great front runner. I think he rolls forward, finds the lead, and takes them all the way. Race 10, number 3. Looking at our quaddies here, very similar. So we're banking on Just Believe and Holly Stars. So if they go under, our quaddies are out the window.
Yeah, hopefully that's not the case, Chris, because we might all went under last week, or last time out actually, but this time I'm going 2 and 4 in the first leg, 3 in the second leg. I'm going the field in the third leg. I think that's a bit of an open one, and with just the 8 runners, doesn't cause too much damage to the wallet in getting it, so $16 will get 100% of that one.
All right, Ryan, your quaddie?
Yeah, I'm playing in the first leg, Chris, the 3 bigger guns, Queen Alida, Mufasa Metro, Plymouth Chubb. Stand it out into Just Believe, as we will do. Yeah, race 7 was the tricky one. Blackjack Bart, OB Legal, Despondent. Not sure how they mapped there, really uncertain. If Better Than Popsy, the 8, gets a crack at him, I think he could be the one. And we'll bring it home with Pete in the last.
Okay, I'm similar. 2, 3, 4 into 3. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8 into 8. So $15 there for 100% of the dividend. That's for the quaddie tomorrow night at Albion Park. That's races 5, 6, 7 and 8. Don't forget, first 4 jackpots on those Inter Dominion heats as well. And don't forget about those money back offers as well through the tab. And if you are gambling across the weekend, please do so responsibly. We've got a fantastic night coming up tomorrow night. Night 3 of ID23. We kick off at 6:15. We'll see you trackside.